The first time Celeste Rowan noticed the janitor, it was because of the way he flinched when a glass shattered near his feet. The sound echoed through the polished marble lobby of Rowan Tech headquarters in the bright afternoon light, and while executives barely looked up from their phones, the janitor froze as if struck by something unseen. He bent down quickly, hands trembling, to clean the mess before anyone could complain. In that small, human moment, something tugged at Celeste's chest in a way she couldn't explain. She was the CEO of a billion-dollar company, respected and feared in equal measure, yet suddenly she felt unsettled by the quiet fear in a man most people never noticed. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that one small moment can change a life, take a second right now to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel, Kindness Journal. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Celeste had built her success on observation. She noticed patterns others ignored, sensed problems before they became disasters, and trusted her instincts even when logic said otherwise. That afternoon, her instincts refused to let go of the janitor. His name badge read Marcus Hale. He looked to be in his mid-30s, his shoulders slumped as if carrying more than a mop bucket could explain. His uniform was clean but clearly worn thin from years of use, and beneath his cap, strands of dark hair showed early streaks of gray. There was something deeply tired about him, not just physically but in the eyes of a man who had learned not to expect help. Over the following weeks, Celeste began noticing Marcus everywhere. He worked during the day, quietly cleaning conference rooms flooded with sunlight, hallways glowing with glass walls, and offices that smelled of expensive coffee and ambition. He moved with careful precision, always apologizing with a nod if someone had to step around him. What struck Celeste most was his schedule. He never left early, never chatted with coworkers, and always clocked out at the same time, just as the afternoon sun dipped lower and shadows stretched across the parking lot. One evening, on a whim that surprised even herself, Celeste decided to follow him. She told herself it was curiosity, maybe concern, but deep down it was something else. A sense that behind Marcus's quiet routine was a story that mattered. She waited in her car as he left the building, watching him walk toward a bus stop instead of a vehicle. The sky was still bright, painted in pale blue and soft white clouds, the city alive with daytime noise. Marcus boarded the bus with practiced ease, holding his worn backpack close as if it contained something fragile. Celeste followed at a distance, keeping her car discreet. The bus dropped Marcus off in a modest neighborhood where paint peeled from houses and sidewalks cracked under years of neglect. Children played in the street, their laughter ringing through the warm air, and laundry fluttered on lines like flags of resilience. Marcus walked several blocks before stopping at a small daycare center. Through the wide windows, Celeste saw him kneel down, arms opening just as a little boy ran toward him with unstoppable energy. The child couldn't have been more than 6 years old. His smile was bright, missing one front tooth, his shoes scuffed from play. Marcus lifted him effortlessly, exhaustion vanishing from his face, replaced by pure relief. Celeste felt her throat tighten. This wasn't just a janitor heading home. This was a father, finishing one job only to begin another. Marcus and the boy walked hand in hand to a tiny apartment building nearby. Celeste parked across the street and watched from her car as they disappeared inside. She sat there longer than she intended, staring at the building, feeling a weight settle over her heart. She had grown up wealthy, insulated from hardship, believing that hard work alone determined success. Yet here was a man who worked harder than most executives she knew, and still lived on the edge of survival. The next day, Celeste couldn't focus. Meetings blurred together. Profit charts felt meaningless. She began discreetly asking questions, careful not to expose her interest. Human resources revealed that Marcus was a single father. His wife had passed away 3 years earlier after a sudden illness. Medical bills had wiped out their savings. He'd taken the janitorial job for the daytime hours so he could pick up his son, Evan, from daycare without relying on strangers. He'd turned down promotions because they required night shifts. Celeste felt a quiet shame bloom in her chest. She had once praised her company's family-first values in interviews, yet Marcus's life contradicted the comfort of those words. Over the following days, she followed Marcus again, not every day, but enough to see the truth of his life. She saw him grocery shopping with careful calculations, choosing the cheapest items, putting one thing back for every two he picked up. She saw him at the park, watching Evan play while reviewing homework notes, his face a mix of pride and worry. She saw the exhaustion settle into his posture by late afternoon, even as he smiled for his son. What Celeste found most heartbreaking was what Marcus didn't do. He didn't complain. He didn't beg. He didn't ask for help. One afternoon, as sunlight streamed through the lobby windows, Marcus slipped on a freshly mopped floor and fell hard. The sound drew attention. People stared, annoyed more than concerned. Marcus scrambled up, apologizing repeatedly even though the fall wasn't his fault. Celeste watched from a distance, her chest tightening. In that moment, she realized following him wasn't enough. Understanding wasn't enough. Something had to change. That evening, Celeste went back to her office and stayed long after most employees left. She reviewed company budgets, benefits policies, and internal programs with a new lens. She saw loopholes, oversights, and opportunities disguised as inconveniences. Her company could afford to do better. The question was whether she had the courage to disrupt the system she had helped create. The next week, she arranged a mandatory daytime meeting for all support staff, framing it as a policy update. The room was bright, sunlight pouring in through tall windows, chairs arranged neatly. Marcus sat near the back, Evan beside him because daycare had closed early. Evan swung his legs nervously, clutching a small toy car. Celeste stepped onto the stage, not as the distant CEO behind glass walls, but as a woman visibly moved by the people before her. She spoke about unseen effort, about the foundation built by those who cleaned, repaired, and maintained. She spoke about dignity, about families, about second chances. Her voice trembled once, just slightly, when she spoke of single parents doing double the work for half the recognition. Then she announced the changes. Immediate wage increases for support staff. Flexible schedules without penalty. A new education and advancement program tailored for employees with caregiving responsibilities. Emergency assistance funds for medical and family crises. And finally, a personal scholarship for Evan's future education, funded not by charity but by acknowledgement of Marcus's contribution. The room went silent. Marcus didn't understand at first. His face showed confusion, disbelief, and something close to fear, as if expecting the offer to disappear if he reacted too quickly. Evan looked up at his father, sensing the shift without understanding it. Celeste looked directly at Marcus, not singling him out publicly, but letting him know silently that he had been seen. Over the following months, change rippled through the company. Productivity increased, but more importantly, morale transformed. People smiled more. They spoke openly. They trusted leadership in a way that couldn't be faked. Marcus enrolled in a facilities management course through the new program. His posture straightened. The exhaustion in his eyes softened, replaced by cautious hope. Celeste watched these changes quietly, never taking credit. She visited the building more often, not to inspect, but to observe. She saw Marcus teaching Evan how to tie his shoes near the front desk during lunch breaks. She saw other parents bringing children without fear of reprimand. She saw life woven into the workplace, and it felt right. One sunny afternoon, nearly a year later, Celeste passed Marcus in the hallway. He looked different. Healthier. Stronger. He still wore a uniform, but it fit with pride now, not resignation. Evan ran ahead of him, laughing, his backpack bouncing with every step. Celeste realized something profound in that moment. Following Marcus hadn't changed his life alone. It had changed hers. She no longer measured success solely in revenue or expansion. She measured it in dignity restored, in futures reopened, in small boys laughing in places once reserved for silence. As this story draws close, if it touched your heart even a little, if it reminded you that every person carries a story worth seeing, please take a moment to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Kindness Journal. Your engagement helps spread these messages further than you might imagine. And before the ending, we have a special request for you. Please comment below with one word that describes how this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. Celeste never told anyone she followed Marcus home that first day. Some truths don't need confession. They need action. And in the bright, ordinary daylight of a company lobby, a single act of noticing became the beginning of something extraordinary.